Welcome to Project Solutions' presentation of optimizing your business strategies for developing your DBE firm. I'm Jake McSheffrey, the Business Projects Manager at PSI. Today we're going to cover some specific ways that you can improve and grow your company immediately that will have long-lasting positive effects on your firm. Why is business optimization so important? Why should you focus on the continuous development of your firm and its processes? On this slide, you can see a chart of the correlation of small business failures to total years in business, which at first may seem counterintuitive, but these figures should humble any business owner and help highlight the importance of innovation. You need to constantly seek out the cutting-edge strategies so that you can stay on the right side of the statistics. We're going to break this presentation down into three sections. The first one is going to take us back to basics. We'll review some of the fundamental yet critical building blocks of any business. And then we'll dive into deeper tactical research and promotion, identifying proven strategies to learn your market and clientele, as well as best market your organization and your team. And lastly, we'll discuss masterful execution, or the importance of a quality product and never settling for mediocrity. So let's take a look at some basic fundamentals. So the best place to start is within yourself. Why did you start your own business? No entrepreneur will ever be able to manage the adversity of business ownership without defining and internalizing the why behind what they're doing. So you have to be fully committed and in tune with your goals and motivation. You owe that much to your company, your employees, your clients, and yourself. During your most stressful and overwhelming days is when your why will be most tested, and you'll need the grounding force of this purpose to drive you forward. What does success look like for your company? So it's important to define what does success look like to you. Take the time to identify specific figures or events that you associate with success. It could be that you're getting more work, or that you need to hire more employees, or simply that your paycheck is getting bigger. But you just need to be realistic and recall these concepts as you continue to develop your firm. What is a successful business? Success in business is determined by profitability. While many companies experience a loss in their startup phase, a firm's ultimate ability to procure wealth is the root determination for success. Now, the formula makeup for what equals success, however, is far more complicated. All elements of business management incorporate into the overall success of a company, but we can attempt to break it down into four specific measurables. The first one is a business that has the ability and care to identify both the client and market's needs. In most cases, small businesses do not dictate the market or client needs. Your role is to find where there is an opportunity for your business and then capitalize on it. So your focus shouldn't be on selling yourself to a potential client, but understanding what is needed and applying your skill sets and expertise to solving the issues that already exist. Discover the demand and target your efforts in supplying it. Business that trains and empowers their workforce. Whether you have employees or you operate solo, taking the time to develop the members of your team and yourself is critical. If you're not actively working towards team and self-betterment, then you're willingly foregoing an opportunity to set your firm apart from your competition. And that's a luxury that no small businesses can afford. A business that dedicates itself to establishing and achieving organizational goals. SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely, may sound like a cliche, but they are actually the building blocks for the incremental successes that build empires. You need to outline the pathway for your firm's success and always be striving for that next mark. Business that ensures only the highest quality of work and never compromises its integrity. So your product, of course, is your lifeblood. Everything you touch should turn to gold, or at least your client's interpretation of gold. Bigger firms and prime contractors have grown their businesses by providing high quality work, and they're going to expect no less from your firm. So this is your best opportunity to truly stand apart from other small businesses. Next basic concept is accounting. So having a solid understanding of your financial portfolio and performance is fundamental to managing your business. If you are a small business or DBE that specializes in construction, there's even more depth to this concept. Accounting principles. Which type of accounting method does your firm utilize? Standard accounting is best suited for businesses that sell a completed product and conduct business from a fixed location, such as a retail company. The variance in labor and payroll is simpler. Profitability, break-evens are all forecasted based on a fixed understanding of income and expenses. Now, project-based accounting is a little bit more diverse and complex as it does pertain to specific jobs. An example would be that tax laws may vary across state lines and municipalities, and profitability in general is uniquely job-focused. So understanding which style, method of accounting that you're using is important because it may or may not be best suited for your type of work. The next item to think about is revenue accounting. So do you use cash accounting or accrual accounting? Cash accounting recognizes revenue when cash is actually received. So going back to that retail example, you sell a product, they pay you cash, the deal is done, you recognize the cash immediately, the revenue. Whereas accrual accounting recognizes revenue when it's earned. So this could be that you finished a specific component of a project, but you will not be getting paid until the entire project is at the 50% mark. So you're going to recognize that even though we haven't received the cash yet, we are recognizing that revenue because we completed the work associated with it. So depending on your business model, one of these methods may or may not be more applicable. With job-based work, accrual accounting is far more accurate because it provides clear visibility into profitability despite potentially changing timelines for payments. Job costing is perhaps one of the most misunderstood concepts. It's a firm's deep dive into cost allocation and forecasting. Incorporating real-time job costing will allow you to keep score and to better identify how your business operates from a financial perspective, which in turn will augment your capability to determine more competitive bids. One effective strategy to job costing is to be meticulous in data accumulation while on the job or the job site. So you should be capturing information about timelines, costs, networking, and any work technicalities in a central database. Having this record of information is going to help you determine future jobs and costs, as well as establish benchmarks for performance. Another thing to note is that if your team is working remotely or they're going to a job site to perform a function, having the ability to report back daily or weekly reports from a mobile location is important to capturing this data. So keep that in mind depending on the type of work your firm does. Just a quick note on growth management. During the first year, business growth is going to be infinite because there's no revenue to start. So don't let that skew your expectations. Remember that it's easier to grow $10,000 to $100,000 than it is to grow $100,000 to $1 million. So just temper your profitability expectations as a whole. And another good note is that to foster sustainable business growth, revenue should not increase more than 30% and profit should not increase more than 15% a year. So when a firm does go past these percentages, they're typically unable to keep up with some of the ancillary tasks that are associated with the increased work. So you want to be able to grow your revenue, but grow your business at the same time. And that's why it's important to pay attention to not, growing too fast because you will start to slip in your product. These are just some basic concepts to keep in mind. You should already have a decent understanding of these concepts, and if not, we can work with you to help determine the best methodologies for your unique business. Targeted research and promotion. Time is your most precious resource. Business owners need to choose wisely what they devote their time to, and often overlook some of the essentials like personal development and marketing. Understanding that taking the time to perform functions that don't directly bring in cash flow can still be extremely effective in improving profitability, as long as they have a high ROI. So sometimes this development can be the difference between a firm sinking or surviving. Countless ways to develop your business, which means you should be actively pursuing some sort of development at any given time. Here we'll cover some strategies as they relate to research, targeting opportunities, marketing, and perhaps the most important, seeking feedback. The first item is research. It's true what they say, knowledge is power. Proper research can completely change how successful an organization is. The first thing is to stay engaged and informed. You should be subscribing to applicable industry journals and newsletters, actively seeking training and networking events, conferences, webinars, anything related to your field. Identify your brand and ask questions. The more interaction you get with your customers and industry professionals, the higher chance you have to glean their desires. In any situation, you should always be asking yourself two questions. Who is your customer? What do they value? You need to learn what is valuable to sell, no matter what kind of business you own. For example, there may be hundreds of options for landscaping businesses. Is that truly what's most valuable, the ability for your firm to complete landscaping work? Or is your customer truly looking for reliability? Or maybe they're looking for a firm that can get the job completed in a time crunch to possibly avoid late penalty fees from the state. Maybe they've had bad experiences with communication and they're really looking for responsiveness. Find the common struggles, market yourself as the solution. Lastly, leveraging your competition. Perhaps the best research you can do is into your competition. Visit their website, renew their capability statements, see how they market themselves. What are they offering that your firm is not? Ask contractors which DBEs they prefer to work with and why. Engage with your competition and put yourself in a position where you can learn. The old adage is, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. Mapping your reach. Again, your time is your most precious resource, and as such needs to be properly spent in business development. We want to make sure your marketing and your development is effective and actually yielding results. The first step is to identify practical working distance. So where should you focus your time and efforts? If you are a project-based company, how far are you willing and able to transport your personnel and equipment to stay profitable? Determine that distance and draw a radius on a map. Does your span cross into separate municipalities or districts? Does it cross state lines? If it does cross state lines, you should be DBE certified in those states as well. And once you know the geographic determination of where you're able to perform the work, what market you're willing to embed yourself into, then it's time to get in touch with the right people in those areas. So contacting these agencies. Seek out transportation departments, government agencies, local contractors, anyone who may be involved in contracting the work for your industry. Let them know who you are, what your capabilities are, and why you should be their first choice when seeking that labor component. Any events or conferences that are either in this area or will be attended by influential people in this area should also be your focus. Marketing. So marketing is your best ally in establishing trust and credibility with clients. Everything associated with your marketing needs to be pristine and professional. Dated aesthetics, tacky designs, even grammatical errors present a disorganized, rudimentary, or even sketchy persona for your company. If you personally are not great with marketing, invest in someone who is, because it can absolutely make the difference in getting a job or not. Books will get judged by their cover, so you need to make sure yours is perfect. So presenting yourself professionally. You're trying to establish your indisputable professionalism and ability as a DBE firm. Always look at your marketing materials from your client's perspective. Your aim should be to impress them. So tailor your resume, your website, your capability statement to focus on your strengths so that a customer knows exactly what you're all about. You don't have to be a Fortune 500 company, but you do need to act like one. Your client needs to know that your business is the most important thing to you and that you will not let them down. Another good tip is that if your website is in development, make sure that you have a professional coming soon page that still relays the essential contact information. You don't want anybody to ever go to your website and just be given a unable to connect prompt. And lastly, be the subject matter expert, the SME. One of the best ways you can establish trust and credibility for your organization is to present yourself as the subject matter expert. So any opportunity you can find to teach and educate others, or include this mentorship on your website via YouTube videos, articles, social media posts, looking at getting involved in training events, speaking, or presenting, this will help you build your brand and will associate your company with expertise. The academic side of things really helps firms understand or paint a picture of how well-versed your company is in the industry. And lastly, feedback. While under contract, take advantage of that time to learn more about the contractor and their needs. Ask for reviews of quotes, ask which firms they prefer to work with and why, and if you have a great experience with a contractor, ask for a letter of recommendation. Building and maintaining these relationships will pay off when that contractor needs to solicit your labor component for another job. Reputation is everything for a small business, so capitalize on the opportunity to promote and demonstrate your worth. In this section, we talked about spending your time and energy marketing effectively and to the right organizations. Take a good look at your current promotional materials and marketing strategy. Think of ways that you can improve upon your image. Do the research as to what is important, update any old materials, and actively seek feedback to help determine and improve your brand. Masterful execution. There are no corners to be cut with a small business. Your objective is to prove your company is reliable, skilled, and the best choice for the job. And you prove that with your performance and the quality of your work. Internal quality control can help a great deal in ensuring that nothing but the best product comes from you. Before undertaking any job or bid, understand the entire scope of work. Look for specific requirements beyond the basic type of work and make sure you'll be able to complete those items. Keep in mind all labor or material challenges you may face during the time frame and adjust your plans accordingly. If the work you're doing is in a different district or state, look into those tax laws and see if there are different requirements. Understand before you agree to the project, everything that it entails so that you won't be faced to a point where you can't achieve the goal or produce the product that's expected of you. Building relationships with a focus on communication. So relationships. These are everything in the industry. You have to make yourself available and accessible to coordinate with prime contractors. Number one, they need to be able to reach you reliably and consistently, and vice versa. So communicate with your client. Respond in a timely and consistent manner. Notify them immediately of any changes or updates to schedules or work. Never put them in a position where they're going to have to wonder where you are or why you're not responding. And if your firm is solicited personally for a labor component by a prime contractor that you're not interested in bidding in, let them know right away. They will respect your promptness, and this is another way you can build reputation without even doing the work. One of the biggest complaints we hear from prime contractors is a lack of communication or the amount of times they'll have to reach out to a firm in order to get that no for their good faith efforts and whatnot. So making sure that you stay on top of your messages and communicating with these primes is a very important factor. And maintaining relationships with past contractors and project engineers and seeking them for additional work. So don't assume any companies that you've worked with in the past will automatically remember you and reach out. You have to be the one that's proactive in these relationships. Regardless if the work you did was great or not, you want to keep re-engaging, asking how they're doing, asking if there's any work coming up, or keep those relationships alive. Lastly, be transparent. Honest and accurate updates on scheduled work and materials. Another big complaint we hear a lot from prime contractors is incomplete or improperly completed paperwork. Any type of submittals that either have the incomplete date, incorrect version, follow-ups on outstanding payments, data, schedule changes, certified payroll, any of these types of documentation, you're going to want to make sure it's all done timely and correctly to avoid any delays. We touched a little bit on development in the last section, but it does bear repeating, personal team development. Devoting your entire firm to constant development cannot be overstated. You need to invest the time and resources into training and quality control of your team's work. Your aim isn't to be the best DVE, it's to be the best to ever do the job. That's what you're striving for. And the last note here about don't box yourself in. This is kind of referring back to the research component as well. Perhaps you are starting to see a trend in a missing labor component in the field. You may very well find an opportunity to grow your business, even if it's not something that you have much experience in. Remember that while you may be a master in your craft, you are now the CEO of a company, and you need to do what's best for your organization's growth and development. So consider expanding your staff to perform jobs and fill a particular void. Just be sure that before you embark on any new tasks, that you have the talent, the skill sets, and the processes to follow through, or you're going to risk harming your reputation. The last thing we'll touch on is keeping the future in mind, an exit strategy. Are you looking to sell the company or pass it along to someone else? You may not be at this stage yet in your business, but it's worth keeping in the back of your mind as you go along. The challenge of an exit strategy. So selling a business requires a realistic valuation. It may have been years of hard work to build the company, but what is its real value in the current marketplace? The challenge is dealing with the financial and psychological aspects of business loss. And to help overcome these challenges, being focused is what's important. Get a proper valuation of your company. Set up legal buy-sell agreements along with a business transition plan for you, your purchasers, your staff. Find a business valuation partner. Consult with your accountant, financial advisors for the best tax strategy to sell or close out your business. This is an area where you're definitely going to want to employ the help of professionals, whether it's a consulting agency, accountants, a financial firm. You're going to want to make sure that you're covering all your bases when it comes to this transition to make it most profitable for yourself, but also the smoothest transition for your buyers and the staff that may or may not still be staying on with the company. Main topics here discuss paying attention to your firm's output. So whether it's a proposal, a completed product, or even just an email, everything needs to be refined to a very high standard. Never underestimate the power of relationships. Personal relationships and trust play a huge factor in securing work and winning bids. To conclude, we first discussed the importance of knowing your why and understanding your company's financials. We discussed targeted research and focused marketing options, as well as soliciting feedback from others within the industry. And we touched upon the importance of team and firm development, the importance of establishing and maintaining relationships, and some exit strategies. As stated before, you should always keep your firm's development at the forefront of your mind. Focusing solely on the current job without background development and planning is what leads to the unsettling statistics we saw at the beginning. Stay engaged, capitalize on the time you have, and never let your work suffer. So if you have any questions or would like assistance in developing your business, Project Solutions is here to provide free management consulting to all certified DBEs. We cover job costing, financial reviews, marketing strategies, business plan development, capability statements, and more. If there's any concept of your business that you would like development in, feel free to contact us. Thank you for participating in today's presentation. Have a wonderful day.